Welcome back, everybody. You are listening to The Cutting Edge, live every Saturday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. Hey, send your questions or comments to digitaladdiction@gmail.com or on Skype at digitaladdiction. Call in on Skype if you like. All right, folks, we're back. Here's Darko. Take it away, my friend.
Well, thanks everybody for joining us. I was finishing up on that article about China planning to halt the rain for Olympics, and it's interesting because I got some really good information here. It says the Chinese have been tinkering with the weather since the 50s, trying to bring rains to the desert terrain of northern provinces. And this is from the LA Times. This isn't, some conspiracy website or anything. This is the LA Times. The Bureau of Weather Modification was established in the 1980s and is now believed to be the largest in the world. And this is a quote from them. "We have the largest program in the world with the most people involved and the most equipment, but it is not really the most advanced," Wang said. That honor belongs to the Russians, who he says used sophisticated cloud seeding in 1986 to prevent radioactive rain from the Chernobyl reactor accident reaching Moscow. And it says here, although many scientists dispute the effectiveness of weather modification, which is a bunch of bull in my opinion, Wang insists that it has been successful in China on a limited scale. And so I back here, and it says here the World Meteorological Organization, which, according to most scientists, right, which is the consensus, the World Meteorological Organization has indicated that cloud seeding produces positive results in many cases. So there's like conflicting reports here. If you go to the mainstream news, they're going to tell you that it doesn't exist, and but then they'll report on it and they'll say, oh, well, it doesn't really work. But I wanted to go down here and give you just a little brief history, just the last of this cloud seeding, because like I said, we have geoengineering, which is a form of weather modification that the director of the science and technology, Mr. Holdren, has been calling for geoengineering, and there's a lot of scientists out there that want to do it. But just finishing up on this cloud seeding, which is a very old technique of modifying the weather, and as you could see, as I mentioned, has been around since the early 1900s. So, but it says here from March 1967 until July 1972, the U.S. military's Operation Popeye cloud-seeded silver iodide to extend the monsoon season over the North Vietnam, specifically the Ho Chi Minh Trail. The operation resulted in the targeted areas seeing an extension of the monsoon period, an average of 30 to 40 days. In 1969, at the Woodstock Festival, various people claimed to have witnessed clouds being seeded by the U.S. military, although a source for this was unknown. This was allegedly the cause of the rain and then mud, which lasted throughout most of the festival. Project Cirrus was the first attempt to modify a hurricane. It was a collaboration of the General Electric Corporation, the U.S. Army Signal Corps, the Office of Naval Research, and the U.S. Air Force. After initial skepticism by government scientists, the first attempt to modify a hurricane began on October 13, 1947, on a hurricane that was heading west to east and out to sea. The public blamed the seeding, and Irvin Langmuir claimed that the reversal had been caused by human intervention. Cirrus was canceled and lawsuits were threatened. Project Storm Fury was an attempt to weaken tropical cyclones by flying aircraft into them and seeding with silver iodide. The project was run by the United States government from 1962 to 1983. It says one private organization which offered during the 1970s to conduct weather modification was Irvine Crick and Associates of Palm Springs, California. They were contracted by Oklahoma State University in 1972 to conduct such a seeding project to increase fall. On November 13, 2001, a patent was filed outlining a method of modifying weather. The abstract reads, "The polymer is dispersed into the cloud, and the wind of the storm agitates the mixture, causing the polymer to absorb the rain. This reaction forms a gelatinous substance which precipitate to the surface below, thus diminishing the cloud's ability to rain. And that's interesting because we're going to get back to that, Delta, as far as this forming a gelatinous substance, which is like a gel that falls, and there's been reports of that. So, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff in the mainstream news that you can find if you just do the research yourself and look up cloud seeding. I'm going to cover this article here. It says Moscow mayor promises a winter without snow.
Right.
This is the one I was talking about from it's 2009.
All right, we should cover that when you come back.
Okay.
You know, it's kind of odd that only a select few of people are interested in researching this to find out what's really going on. Have you explained the difference between a contrail and a chemtrail?
No, but I do. I can't cover that. I was going to cover that next hour, but yeah, we can definitely cover that now as far as...
Well, there's about a minute left, and I mean, I know you have the data right in front of you, but, the difference between a chemtrail and a contrail is pretty important. So let's explain that real quick. I'm kind of going from memory, but a chemtrail will last up to a few hours, where a contrail should last 15 to 30 seconds, kind of like your car exhaust, for example, right?
Well, either way, you were getting at a contrail not lasting that long, but a chemtrail will just sit up there for hours. And yeah, that's kind of the argument right now is that now whoever these people are, they're saying, you got people that defend these contrails. They call them persistent contrails. So they're saying that these contrails can sit up there for hours. But I'm sorry, I don't believe in that, because I look up in the sky. I'm a former Marine. I worked in aviation around F-18s. I worked on a flight line. I know what contrails are, and yet I have people that will tell me, "No, you're just seeing persistent contrails," and I'm telling them, "No, I'm not." Because when I look up in the sky, I've never seen one commercial jet leave a trail that's called a contrail and just let it sit there. I've never seen one just sit there for 15 seconds. I'll give them a half an hour, but not 2 hours. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
That's just ridiculous.
Exactly. All right, folks, we'll be right back after this.
Google is the most powerful search engine on Earth. Today, billions of users Google for any kind of information. A former student's project now rules the World Wide Web. In 1997, Larry Page and Sergey Brin developed the so-called PageRank, a complex mathematical algorithm that ranks websites by their relevance. This groundbreaking invention profoundly transformed access to information. Google rapidly became the first choice for internet search, and this was just the beginning. Today, Google earns huge profits by dominating online advertising. It's well on the way to becoming the most valuable company on the global market. But is it just about money? These men pursue a great vision, the Google Master Plan. Any kind of information will be accessible to anybody, controlled by Google itself. With the credo, don't be evil. New features and products are constantly flying out of the Googleplex, all for free. Don't you worry about your privacy? The perfect blend of software and hardware, called Googleware, gives the company more computing power than anyone else. Google stores the entire known web in its giant database. And there's more. Gmail offers several gigabytes of free storage. It's no secret. All your mails, including received mails from your friends, are scanned. Google is methodically collecting personal data in many more ways.